Charles Stuart case rocking the hub. Stuart framing an innocent black man for killing his pregnant wife.
It was a murder that shocked the city. Charles Stuart shot and killed his pregnant wife and wounded himself, but told police a black man did it.
Investigators say Charles Stuart took his reasons for killing his wife with him when he jumped off the Mystic Tobin Bridge this morning.
Everything seemed like an ordinary day. She was expecting a baby. They were situated well and everything went as they imagined. She wanted to give her baby all the love in the world, but she was prevented from doing so. Something happened that will forever leave a mark and a sad memory for the people who knew her. Charles Chuck Stuart killed his pregnant wife Carol on October 23, 1989. The case made headlines throughout the country. All the media wrote about this and it was the main topic for a while. During that period, great fear and insecurity reigned among the people in the place, and everyone wanted the prosecution authorities to find the culprit as soon as possible. Stuart made up the story that Carol's killer was an African-American man who had shot her to death. Charles Stuart was the general manager of Edward F. Caucus & Sons, Furriers on Newbury Street in Boston, Massachusetts. Carol was his wife. She was a tax attorney and was expecting their first child. The couple was traveling through the Roxbury area on October 23rd, following their attendance at Brigham and Women's Hospital for delivery training. A raspy-voiced African-American shooter forced his way into their car at a stoplight, told them to drive to neighboring Mission Hill, robbed them, and then shot Charles in the stomach and Carol in the head, according to Stuart's later account. Stuart then hopped in his car and dialed 911. He was disoriented and appeared to be in shock. He barely uttered a word and tried to get the police to the scene of the crime as soon as possible.
State Police Boston, recorded emergency 510.
My wife's been shot, I've been shot.
Where is this, sir?
I have no idea. I'm off. I've been coming from Tremont, Brigham and Women's Hospital.
He described what happened in that call.
Has your wife been shot as well?
Yes.
Carol passed away on October 24th at around 3 in the morning, just hours after the incident. 4 days later, her funeral was held in her hometown of Medford, Massachusetts at St. James Church. Her child was born by cesarean section 2 months premature thanks to medical intervention. Following the earlier intentions of Charles and Carol, the infant was baptized in the intensive care unit and given the name Christopher. After the incident, Christopher had shock and oxygen loss and he passed away 17 days later. Stuart's injuries were so severe that he needed 2 operations, and the doctor did not even suspect that Stuart had self-inflicted the nearly deadly wounds. The doctors weren't so sure that he would manage to fight for his life because his chances were extremely small compared to the injuries he had from internal bleeding, the possibility of sepsis, infections, injured organs, and a lot more. He spent 6 weeks in the hospital. Every day was a struggle for his life where he eventually recovered. William Willie Bennett, a young man, was discovered by the police to match Stuart's description. Aside from his criminal background, Bennett matched Charles' description of his wife's supposed killer in terms of age and height, as well as having a raspy voice. In a lineup on December 28th, Stuart recognized Bennett as the one who attacked him and killed his wife. On January 3, 1990, Stuart's brother Matthew named Charles as Carol's murderer, and the case against Bennett crumbled. Matthew stated that he had driven to see Stuart that night in order to assist him in committing what he was informed was an insurance scam. When Matthew arrived, he said he saw Carol had been shot and that his brother had shot himself to make it look like a carjacking. Matthew threw the weapon in a bag containing valuables, including the couple's wedding rings, down the Pines River Bridge in Revere. Some of the things, including the weapon, were found later.
Charles Stuart's heartbreaking story of a gun-toting thief robbing, terrorizing, shooting him and his wife after a childbirthing class was a lie.
Police then discovered that Stuart was upset about the thought of becoming a parent, particularly concerned that his wife would not return to work and their financial situation would suffer. Stuart had also begun an affair with Deborah Allen, a Caucus & Sons employee, but Allen denied any romantic involvement. According to the Boston Globe, Stuart received a $480,000 check in settlement for a life insurance policy on his wife, but the money was never located. Stuart also received a $100,000 life insurance check, which he cashed shortly after being discharged from the hospital, according to the television show Cold Blood. A lot of things have already been revealed here, and there was only one thing left: time to find the killer. Stuart met with his lawyer on January 4th, 1990, just hours after his brother Matthew disclosed the truth to the police.
Willie Bennett went from suspect to victim in this case.
Stuart's automobile was later discovered abandoned on the Tobin Bridge in Chelsea. A letter on his car stated that he had been beaten by the new accusations and was sapped of his strength. Stuart then appears to have plunged to his death from the bridge. The next day, his body was discovered in the Mystic River.
Investigators say Charles Stuart took his reasons for killing his wife with him when he jumped off the Mystic Tobin Bridge this morning.
The body has positively been identified as that of Charles Stuart.
Investigators eventually heard from multiple family members and associates that Stuart had voiced a wish to murder his wife prior to the October shooting. Before Matthew went to the police on January 3rd, several of Stuart's 3 brothers and sisters were aware of his role in the crime. Matthew was charged with obstruction of justice and insurance fraud in 1991 for his part in concealing the crime. Matthew's accomplice, John McMahon, was also charged as an accessory to murder. In 1992, Matthew pled guilty and was sentenced to 3 to 5 years in jail. He was granted parole in 1997, but was later caught for drug trafficking and released when his case was appealed. Matthew was discovered dead and heading home a homeless shelter in Cambridge on September 3, 2011. Carol's family founded the Carol DeMattie Stuart Foundation in her memory to give scholarship assistance to Mission Hill residents and Malden High School graduates. This organization seeks to assist kids from Mission Hill and Maiden who demonstrate leadership potential, but would be unable to finance college without considerable further assistance. One of the recipients is the daughter of William Bennett, who was wrongfully accused of Carol's murder.
28 years later, Willie Bennett is still haunted by the memory of Charles Stuart, the man who falsely identified him as the gunman who shot him and his pregnant wife.
The organization has granted $1.2 million to 220 students by early 2006. DeMatteis's attorney, Marvin Geller, told the press that Carol would rather be remembered as a woman who left a legacy of healing and compassion than as the victim of a dramatic murder. He also mentioned how the family was relieved because the culprit was found and that her memory will never fade from their hearts as long as they live. We express our condolences to this family and everyone who knew them. 2 lives were taken in the worst possible way, mother and child, full of love and life, left all too soon. This has awakened the awareness of many people, and their community together with the police work to prevent such cases and try to find as many people as possible before it's too late and more lives are taken. If you like this video and want more content like this, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment on what you think about this monster and what you would like us to present to you next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.